Hey, it's me, your high heels in the boardroom, cocktails at midnight, luxury loving, dill closing, no filter boss babe. And that is Salty City. Come with me for some real talk, big goals, zero apologies, and let's get salty. Hey everybody, welcome back to our new stated podcast, Salty Truth, as I'm going to be explaining a little bit down the road in about the next week or two on an episode why we're changing the name. But welcome back, Salty Truth Podcast. And I have something so amazing for you today. My guest today is Madison Hurst, and she's going to give us some really good tidbits on investing and maybe what you need to do with your taxes and maybe looking at some pensions. So welcome, Madison.
Hey, thanks, Lindsay. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be back.
Tell everybody a little bit about what you do and who you are.
Okay, so I'm Madison, obviously, but I am a single mom of two, and that's kind of been my recent new development of identity. Yeah. But I primarily specialize in, like you mentioned, pensions. And so I got into the finance world. I'll give you a little bit of background for how I get into this, because it is important, contextually speaking. But I was not working, right? So I was married and I was a stay-at-home mom, traditional, right? That's what I was doing. And then it got to a point where I had my second baby at home and my ex-husband left 2 days after to go work on the oil rig. And that's kind of what he did. But for me, it was a very wide awakening because I found myself in a situation where I felt very powerless, right? As a woman and as a mom. And I had a lot of, awakening moments in that time period where I realized that in order to get myself out of this, I couldn't rely on anybody else but myself. Mm-hmm. And so I got to a point where I realized, okay, I need to start bringing in income because, money can get me out of this situation. And so I started working, ended up being really fucking good at it. Yes. I know. We love that. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yes.
Like, I didn't have to spend thousands of dollars on skills that I didn't realize I already had.
Yeah.
Thank God for that. But started working from home, and things just started exploding. And, one thing led to another. But just long story short, I was able to get myself out of that situation financially. And as part of that, developed a passion for finances and self-sufficiency. So especially for women. So hence the tie-in here. But what I primarily specialize in is helping people to be financially sovereign. Because I do believe, especially as women, when you're financially sovereign, you can make choices that normally you wouldn't be able to make, where you might have to be confined to a marriage situation where you're not happy with because of finances. But when you're financially sovereign, the choices you make are going to be different.
Yeah.
And that's primarily what I preach and help people to do, is to become financially sovereign. I'm not going to tell you how to get rich. You can do that yourself. You can expand it, right? What I am going to tell you how to do is how to be financially independent, essentially retire early, and have, enough financial freedom where you can make the decisions you need to that feel in alignment with your soul.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stay in a state of, depression or anxiety or, chronic hustling or whatever it is. So that's primarily what I do, is help people establish financial sovereignty.
Oh, I love it. Well, and I love that you kind of hit on the fact that, as women, it's so important to be able to feel that, because you don't want to be in a situation where you feel stuck due to the lack of financial availability to you. Or someone asked me the other day, actually, what would you tell young women today? In hearing you speak today, it's not necessarily that you shouldn't get married young, or you shouldn't do this young, or not do that, or, go to school, not go to school, go to college, whatever. It's really about knowing how to build yourself, how those foundational building blocks to be able to financially be wise or be able to make decisions or hold financial accountability.
Yes.
Because you never know what's going to come. It's not necessarily even that you might get divorced.
Yeah.
You get married, you're a stay-at-home mom, your husband passes away.
Exactly.
What are you going to do? And I have a 24-year-old daughter, and that's kind of the same thing. As I'm like, how can you have the strength to know these things for your future self in case you're ever in a situation?
Yep. No, exactly. And people don't plan for the worst. Right? You're going to hope for the best. You're going to want to get married. You're going to have the fairy tale dream. And that's kind of drilled into us as women from a young age, right? Like you want the prince, fairy tale marriage. And then something happens and you realize, wait, this isn't the fairy tale I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's okay. And maybe it is the fairy tale you thought it was. And maybe it does work out. And again, that's okay too. But the point is really to be able to, like you said, make decisions that are educated and that you don't feel like if something does happen, you are at a loss. You have no other answer. You are, you know, in a position that you can't change, or you're so depressed and you're crying on the bathroom floor and you can't do anything about it. And then on top of it, you got little ones to take care of.
Right.
You know, and I have come to find out, ironically and very sadly, that a lot of women are in that situation where they are tied to a life that they don't want, that they didn't sign up for, because they were sold the fairy tale dream. And then they find themselves not in that fairy tale dream. I mean, this is historical. This is ancient. You know, this isn't anything
all the time.
modern. Yeah. This is, the tale as old as time, right? If we will. This is something where a plight that women have found themselves in. But we do live in a modern world where we don't have to marry for land.
Right.
You know, we don't have to marry for, you know, to take on an estate.
Yeah.
Like, we can actually, thank God, again, as women, work, you know, and if we don't want to, that's okay too. Right. Yeah. And I get that, you know, everyone's dream is going to be different. But I think, like you said, having a backup plan and knowing that you can and you're capable if you have to is very important.
Yeah, I 100% agree. You are helping individuals do this.
Yes.
Tell me what you're doing.
Okay. So this is where we get into the weeds of it. So how I do this is a little bit different. And especially in the online world, because I do primarily meet people online, which I loved the online world and I've hated it, right? Like it's, you know, it's a catch-22.
Catch-22, 100%.
Yes, right? It's mass scale. People hate you or they love you. And I'm like, all right, I just got to take it, for what it is. So anyways, that being said, I do meet a lot of people online. And when I talk to people, I see people have, got information from so many different sources and everybody's saying something online or selling something online. You got to be really careful,
right?
Especially in the world of finances. I mean, there's a lot going on where you have to do your own due diligence. And especially in the world of business too, there is a lot of accountability that needs to be taken. And if you sign up for a risk, you take on that risk and that's on you. And I have noticed that a lot of people feel entitled to maybe wanting their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
So that being said, as a disclaimer, I do feel like I do something different where it's not high risk, it's actually low risk. So my approach is that I actually take pre-Federal Reserve approaches to finances, because that's actually what the founders of the Federal Reserve did, is they actually utilized pre-Federal Reserve methods to establish the Federal Reserve for the mass society, right? So mass society relies on the Federal Reserve, right? The banks, the banking system, they rely on the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve invests into mortgage securities and treasury bonds, right? So that's kind of getting into the weeds a little bit. But that being said, I go with a lower risk option, meaning that we utilize pension plans. So the biggest corporations you can think of, the NFL, Amex, IBM, they all have a traditional pension in place. And the reason for this is, again, one, it's low risk. Two, it allows you to put in, and now as small business owners, so I'll get into that, but you are allowed to put in up to 75% of your gross, not just net, but gross income into a pension and fully deduct it. This is a way that people can keep their money and still deduct it, create their own reserve of capital, right? And be able to access it after 5 years.
Yeah.
So you don't have to wait until you're 59 and a half, you're, old and you can't work anymore. Not saying 59 and a half is old, but it's just, again, depends on your life choices, but you don't have to wait, right? For me, myself, I'm like, I don't want to wait.
No.
I feel like,
fun.
yes, I want to have fun. Exactly.
It's time to party before we're 60.
Exactly. And enjoy. And for me, and maybe, some people can relate to this. I feel like I feel a loss, and I feel like some of my life was, for lack of a better term, taken.
Yes.
And I wasn't able to fully enjoy certain moments that I wanted to, the way I wanted to, especially with my babies, And for me, I'm like, I'm not going to keep waiting.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to know that there are tools that we can access, and it comes in the form of being an owner and having, sovereignty over your own finances. And so that's the approach I take, is we use a traditional pension, and you have to be a business owner, right? So whether you're a W-2 with an LLC, a side hustle, or you are a 1099, or you actually have a running working business, that's what you need to be able to access this. You become owner instead of being owned.
Yes.
So employer instead of employee. And you take it and you shift it. And when you become the owner, you have the say over what you're doing with your finances.
Yeah.
So again, leading back to sovereignty, when you take ownership over what you're doing in finances, you actually prosper and benefit more than the people who are being told what to do.
Yeah. Which, who doesn't want that?
No, right?
And like you mentioned, yes, I don't either. And like you mentioned, low risk. I mean,
yes.
How many things, are there available to make a bold move or a bold risk that are of minimal risk?
Yes.
I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. No, it is huge because people think that high risk is high reward, right?
Yeah.
But really what this is it's high reward because of your discipline.
Yeah.
And because of your accountability and responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to pre-Federal Reserve, what ended up happening is there were a lot of bank scares. And JP Morgan actually essentially had to save the country.
Okay.
And so I have my opinions with this, but we're going to this. But basically what ended up happening is he kind of just took it upon himself and he's like, I got to save the country from themselves because there's no reserve. No banks, no individual is actually being smart with their finances and creating a reserve themselves. Right. So I've got to come in and save the country, right? Single-handedly. And then obviously one thing led to another and we can get into that too. Titanic and the Federal Reserve.
Here we go.
Oh, rabbit hole. I don't know how deep we want to go. But basically he had to come in and save people from themselves. And so my approach is that I work with people who can be that individual, who have enough responsibility and smarts that they can save themselves from themselves. They don't have to rely on the bank. They don't have to rely on credit card companies. They don't have to rely on the Federal Reserve because they are relying on themselves to be accountable and responsible. And I do believe that business owners are accountable and responsible for the most part because you have to be in order to run a successful business.
Right. And it's yours. You own it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You own it. And when you take ownership over something, you're also taking on accountability.
Yeah.
You're saying, this is mine. I'm taking over it. And there's so much power in that. There's so much power in saying, I am in charge of my own life and my own fate. Yes. And I get to decide whatever it is that I want my future to be. I have all the power over it. And then back to feeling like I was in a powerless situation, I realized that accountability really is the way to taking your power back.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yes, I have been there too.
Yeah.
And it's true. Being accountable and taking accountability for whatever happened in a situation, whatever you want to accomplish, you get your power back. And you own it by being that stance of who you are, taking accountability and moving the hell on.
Yeah. No, literally. No, seriously. Like, pull up your bootstraps. I know.
Yeah. Let's go.
No, literally. Like, especially as women too. Like, I know that there's a lot of value in having our rhythm and not pushing too hard in hustle culture. Like, I get that. Fine. But there is also so much value in saying, like, I'm going to wipe my tears and I'm going to move the fuck on.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do something about it. And even I could sit there and blame my ex-husband and blame, my mom or blame whoever I want to blame.
Yeah.
But that's not going to do anything for me.
Yeah.
Right? It's actually me giving up my power to those people saying they had all the power over me and I let them.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any boundaries.
Yeah.
And so instead of doing that, I can say, no, I have the power and I don't have to be stuck in my past anymore. And I can move on and my life could be totally different.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think it's such a great forward-looking habit to have.
Agreed.
Because whether it's a divorce or situations that come, you have to do that. And because if you don't, you play the victim.
Yes.
And when you become the victim, shit's not going to happen for you.
Exactly. No, and you're going to stay stuck in your loop.
Yeah.
You're right. You're toxic.
No,
loop.
it is. Yeah.
Yep.
I call it change the recording.
I love that.
So if you're telling yourself something and you're not getting anywhere or things are happening and negative is just bound around you, you got to change your recording, whether that's to yourself, what you're putting out there. Let's go. Because that's how you win. And why give those other people the power?
Exactly. No, literally. Fuck them. You can, we've talked about this before too. It's like, you can respect me and you can change your recording or you can get the fuck out. Yeah. Because I'm changing my recording and I'm doing something different about it. So if you can't match that and match that energy, be gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Exactly.
Poof. Yeah. Gone. Just poof. I love it. No, actually though. And it's like, I'm to a point in my life where I'm like, I just don't want to deal with that anymore. You know, right? And people say that your longevity and the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationships at age 50.
Yeah.
And I saw myself in a position too where I'm like, I'm not gonna sit around and wait till I'm 50 or the quote unquote kids are grown to change something. Because then at that point, I'm already on my way down. I'm already on my way out because the quality of my relationships still need to be adjusted. And for the most part, people are set in their ways at age 50.
Yeah.
At age like 30, 36, actually, is we kind of become accustomed to our loop.
Oh, well, yeah.
Our recording.
Definitely.
It becomes our habits, right? And our habits dictate our future and our actions and all that. And so I guess by age 35, you're living 85% of your life subconsciously. And so that means whatever habits, whatever recordings that you're accustomed to and they're playing in your subconscious brain, that is what you are putting out. And that's what you're going to have the rest of your life. Yeah. So if you don't like it, you better change it because at a certain point, that's going to become your normalcy.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows how much time you're going to have too.
Yeah.
Like, what if you don't make it past 60? Like,
exactly.
Do you really want to waste the good years of your life on bullshit?
Yes.
No way.
Right?
No, thank you.
No, exactly. No, thank you. And for whatever reason, men, women alike, we get to a point where we maybe feel obligated. We feel like we have to, stick it out with certain people, certain habits, certain circles, because it is scary.
Yeah.
It is scary to make the transition in your life to say, okay, I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to trust the universe, if you will. Right. Well, on that note, gosh, this is, really, if you want some salty truth here.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Some salty truth.
Right. So this, again, back to women, where I do believe that the universe does demand offerings or sacrifices. And what I've seen in my own life is that has been true. Right. So whether it be anecdotal or not, that has been true for myself. And I did believe that my divorce was the ultimate sacrifice for myself. Mm-hmm. It was an offering for, loving myself. Yeah. And then I noticed as well this last year that I found myself in a position where I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to dabble in the dating world, see how it goes. Maybe I can, try to dabble in, a relationship or whatever, see if there's something else I can change. Anyways, basically dabble with dating. And I found myself in a position where a lot of men were essentially trying to quote unquote siphon my energy. Right. Yeah. So I believe that women, we carry creative power within us innately, right? Mm-hmm. Men have to go out and seek it, but we have it innately. So as women, we have, quote unquote, divine portal, right? So we have, whether you're having kids or not having kids, whether you're creating a business, we are creative beings, especially as women.
Creators.
We're creators. That's why we're so damn good at business. Yeah. Right. And so I found, though, that my energy was being taken or siphoned in the form of dating. Mm-hmm. So when I'd go out on a date and, they wanted whatever they wanted, thinking that they gave enough to receive whatever they wanted, I didn't want to give that because I felt myself being drained afterward. So what I did halfway through the year is I decided, no, I want to take my creative power back. I don't want to give it up freely to people who are just going to take advantage. And I want to cut that off. And this is my divine offering, if you will, to the universe, where I'm going to give that up and I'm going to channel it into my business. And as soon as I did that, everything exploded. It started working for me almost. I'm like, how the hell? Right?
That's awesome.
It was crazy. I'm like, so if y'all want like a level up here, like, just cut off all men. I was like, damn. I was like, they really are trying to siphon our energy. Like, this creative power. I'm like, I'm not going to give it to you in your business. I'm going to put it back into mine. Yeah. And as soon as I did that, I'm like, holy shit. Everything's working out so well and it's growing and I feel like alive and full and my mind's working better and working different. And I just felt like as soon as again, back to taking our power back in whatever form, that to me was a way where I felt like I took my power back from people who were maybe siphoning it and taking advantage of it. And again, this might sound so woo-woo, but I felt
I don't think so.
Yeah, some people might. But maybe I'm so glad you don't, Lindsay.
I'm like, I don't. I'm here.
This is great.
I'm here for it.
We're in it. So that's how what I saw, though, is I saw that as I made that willing offering, it was channeled into my business and that was acknowledged by the universe, if you will. And I was able to generate more in my business. Yeah. And I think the more that we recognize that in our life, again, not playing the victim, but saying I'm taking responsibility over X, Y, and Z, even if it's not something super tangible. And it might sound crazy at the time. And I'm going to channel that into me, in my energy and my sovereign purpose and my business. I truly believe that people are, especially women, are limitless. Yeah. And can do so much.
Yeah. So much stuff.
Right.
And I think I love that point because this is something that I talk to my friends about, my daughter about, friends that have been in toxic relationships. Yeah. I know when, marriages that I left, and plural marriages that I left was a lot to do with that. Yes. Your energy gets depleted.
Yes.
And I think something to recognize here is that if you continue, or you are dating, or you're young, you're wanting to get married, for me, what I noticed as an aging adult and decisions that I made.
You look fab, by the way.
Thank you. It's the 40s era.
Oh gosh, no, 40s are the new 30s. So I've been told.
Yes. But one thing that I've noticed is, and one thing that I've learned in all of my decisions in life, is some of the best relationship or movement that I've seen, or that I've seen other girlfriends, that it's not depleting your energy. When you do want to be with somebody, or you make that decision to get married or date, it is with somebody that actually helps with that energy.
It
completely.
Yes.
Just blows it up.
I love
because it's a different type of energy.
Yes.
And if you're meeting somebody that sucks that energy out, like, kick them the fuck to the curb.
No, literally.
Like, we don't need them. They're probably some narcissistic little shithole.
Exactly. Right? And you're never going to be vindicated.
No.
And they're never going to acknowledge that. I think that's the hardest part too, is like walking away from that. Like, you have to walk away from it knowing that you're never going to feel, again, vindicated.
Yeah.
Or seen or heard by that person. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah. Which is totally fine.
It is totally fine.
I'm going to take you back a little bit. You talked about leaving your marriage.
Yes.
Being a single mom of two, and having to go back to work.
Yes.
So share with everybody how you accomplished that, and how you accomplished it doing it to make your own schedule, so you don't have to make decisions that you didn't want to.
Oh, God. Right. So first of all, none of it was truly intentional. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And I think it was being in a state of survival. Right. And we've talked about this before, where I truly believe that as women, especially when you start having kids, it's like there's something primal in you that's like, I just got to do it. Like, I don't get to think about it. I don't get to think about myself for a second. Again, I do believe women need to put more energy back in themselves. We've talked about that. But I do think that there's something primal that just kicks in and you're like, it is go mode. I've got to focus on these kids and I got to figure shit out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened naturally. Is it didn't happen immediately, but it was just enough pain, enough suffering with a toddler, a newborn, myself, all in diapers at the same time, driving ex-husband up to Salt Lake and then driving back with that screaming baby who needs breast milk.
Yeah.
Not fun, really difficult. And then, having to do everything by myself 24/7, day in, day in and day out, while he was gone for 4 to 6 weeks at a time. It just, I don't know if there's anything I've experienced that's been that painful and that difficult. And I do believe that pain is our biggest motivator. They say that there's actually a book called How to Read People by Like a Book. And it says that 86% of, 86 sounds really specific, but about 86.254. 86% of motivation comes from pain.
Yeah.
Most of it really is from pain. And you'll see that the most successful people have been through the hardest things. And I'm grateful for it. I mourn it and I have respect for it. Would I like to repeat it? No.
Yeah. No, thank you.
No, thank you. We did that once, not doing it again. But I did experience it, and I do think a lot of moms have. That being said, I think it was very primal that I just started working. I just started doing things from home. I just started posting. I just started learning about finances because I wanted to do it myself. And then I started getting the licensure, and then I started posting about it. And then it just kind of naturally took off. And I do believe, especially in our modern world where there's so many options for everything, that when something happens naturally, I do believe it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And you could force your way into anything and it's not going to feel sincere to who you are or in alignment. And, the highest vibrating motion you could feel is alignment.
Yeah.
And so I believe when you do something and you feel like you're in alignment and it happens naturally, then it's where you're supposed to be. And I do believe that this is a part of my life mission or calling is what I'm doing right now. And so that helps me to continue doing what I'm doing. But I had experienced enough pain, started working from home. Over my dead body was I going to put my kids in daycare.
Yeah.
I'm not, especially my newborn.
Yeah.
Like, for fuck's sake.
They get sick and
everything. And then the detachment.
You're going to be with them. Yeah. It's awful.
Right?
I have to do it. It's terrible.
Exactly. And they say too, again, all these statistics. I love my statistics.
I love it.
It's so fun. I just sit there and read statistics. We'll see how much of them are true.
I just love that you can remember them, that you retain all of this. Because for me, I'm like, oh, I need to remember this. And then it's literally gone.
I don't know. I can't remember. Somebody called me. It's like a something file. I can't remember what they called me at one point. Anyways, I love statistics. But they say that up to age 6, a child is still considered a baby and they're still part of the mother's auric field.
Mm-hmm.
So up to that point, they're still like an extension of mom.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not to shame or guilt trip any mothers in this situation. But for me, in my position, I said no.
Yeah.
I said, I will figure out how to do it a different way because over my dead fucking body.
Yeah.
So I figured out how to do it at home and it ended up working out really well. And so then it allowed me to transition naturally out of my marriage into being a single mom and not having to have the kids in daycare and still being able to pick them up every single day and drop them off every single day and create my own hours. And I'm working 24/7.
Yeah.
But like I get to choose when I work.
If I want to choose.
Yes. If I want to take a nap at 1 in the afternoon and then work until midnight, I can.
Yeah.
I don't have to wake up at 9 o'clock every single day. And, I still have to get kids to school all the time. But,
yeah.
I want to sleep in one day and let them sleep in. I can.
Yeah. Which is honestly like a very beautiful thing.
It is.
I went the corporate route when I got divorced.
Yeah.
And started kind of building the corporate ladder.
Yeah.
And I found out once I got there, and I talk about this in my podcast a little bit, once I got there, I decided that is absolutely not what I wanted.
Wow. Good for you.
And a lot of it went back to that.
Yeah.
I had aging kids. I had kids in high school. Even, thinking that my kids were like going into middle school and high school, I was like, oh, it'll be okay. Like I can work more hours. And it was actually harder.
Wow.
Because they need you differently.
Interesting.
And you got to be there a little bit more. And they require a lot of emotional support.
I know I did.
Almost more than the toddler.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Not really. But I realized at that point, I was like, no, this is actually not what I want at all.
Yeah.
That's when I quit and started doing my own business. And that's just been in the last couple years. And I would say I'm not the only person that feels that way. Yes. I know a lot of single moms that are literally busting their ass in corporate.
Wow, I bet.
That are scared to leave corporate, right?
Stability.
Because it's comfortable, stability, fear of accomplishing the, financial needs that they need to make, whatever it might be. Or it's just a scary, bold risk.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is hesitation from going, yes, I want this, and making someday into hell yes today.
Yeah.
And what I love and what I'm hearing from you is that you might have some opportunity to help shed light in this area in what you do.
I definitely think so. And you're exactly right. I mean, it all ties together. And I mean, to your point too, good for you for taking that risk. And you had to trust yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You had to trust that you could do what you otherwise had been told that you can only be provided, through a corporate entity or through somebody else, right? But you're like, no, I trust myself. I'm going to take this leap and go for it.
Yeah.
And take that risk. And I'm a big believer in that too. Maybe it's nature, maybe it's nurture. I don't know. But I am a big believer in like, I don't want to answer to anybody.
Yeah. I don't either. I don't do well being told what to do.
I do not either. And I'm like, damn, maybe this isn't me problem. Like maybe all this isn't me problem. And at least there's some introspection.
Yes.
So I'm not just sitting there blaming the world. But I do acknowledge that I have a hard time being told what to do. And that's okay. It really is okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't have to be subservient. And if I'm not subservient, then I'm, wayward or wild. And honestly, great. I love a good wild woman, who knows her heart and follows it and gets after it. So good for you. But I do believe that I do have opportunities for women who are in that position. And the transition for some may not be immediate. For people like us, it might be. I'm the person who's like, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm done. I quit. I remember this one time I was working. I picked up some 9 to 5. And after 30 days, I was like, Dad, I quit my job. He's like, good for you. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That's the kind of dad I have. So that's very helpful, is that I have a very good relationship with my father. And anytime, or maybe my sisters and I, this is a funny story people appreciate, but my sisters and I at one point, I think we were all so broke. We were so into over our head in debt. And we're like, you know what? We're going to go get sushi. So we went out and we all got sushi, and we're so broke. And my dad calls and he's like, what are you guys doing? We're like, oh, we just bought sushi. And he's like, and he knew our financial situation. He's like, good for you guys. I'm like, fuck yeah. That's like,
Good for you.
good for you. Like, that's the kind of dad I had, is he's just, it's the fuck the system. Like, do what you need to do to be happy and live your life and take the risk. Like, and so I do appreciate people like that.
Yeah.
And I do like working with people like that. On that note, I do know that for some, it can't be so immediate.
Right.
So what I do provide is an opportunity for those who it may not be immediate. Maybe it'll take 3 to 5 years, but that's okay. 3 to 5 years in exchange for another 15, 20 to be financially sovereign is really worth it for most people.
Yeah.
So an example I use, and I've done this for a couple clients, is let's say they have a W-2 and a side hustle, and they want to take the leap to the side hustle and make it their full-time thing. Or they just want enough, financial stability where maybe they don't have to feel confined to their W-2 and they can do part-time or what, again, the sky's the limit. What I like to do is provide people options, and you can decide what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Again, I don't like being told what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. So you decide.
This is your movement, baby.
This is your life. Live it. Like, I'm not going to tell you anything. So I will guide. But that being said, what people can do is in a W-2, as long as they have some form of side hustle that is at least starting to cash flow, even if it doesn't net profit anything, as long as they've got some form of flow going on and an excuse, quote unquote excuse for a business, then they can utilize this. So what they can do is they can set up their own private pension owned by their business.
Okay.
And their W-2, people are paying through the nose in taxes with W-2. And they think like, oh, I have to keep doing this. And they're confined to that, those taxes that they're paying, federal and state taxes with their W-2. But what they don't realize is that their side hustle, their business, can actually weight against their W-2 income. Right?
Yeah.
So it's their adjusted gross income overall that's taken into account for tax planning. And that being said, what they can do is they can 1099 their business. They can do a ledger. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but it's all a matter of cash flow and direction. And that's all the IRS wants to see, is they want to see, the flow of income, where it's going, and is it benefiting the economy? Right. Mm-hmm. And I know the IRS is the bad guy. We don't like the IRS. I think most people don't. But as far as legal terms and being compliant, that's what they like to see. Okay, so we see the paper trail, and people can redirect dollars into their private pension because this is an excuse for deduction, right? And the IRS, the United States, loves to see people investing into their retirement. That's great, but let's do it smarter, right? Mm-hmm. Let's not do it in a way where you're being owned and you don't have a lot of power. You have to wait till you're 60, 59 and a half, whatever. Let's do it so that you have ownership over it and you can access it earlier and you can deduct more. That's how we do it. So we set up a private pension under their business. They can redirect some of those dollars that they're normally paying in taxes into that private pension, which allows them funds that they may not have realized they actually do have access to get ahead. So we're using tax dollars to, in a sense, get ahead. And again, all of this is legal and viable because you're putting it toward retirement. You have an excuse for a business. You have reason for the business. And as long as that's the direction you're going, you're good as far as legal terms. And this allows people a good 3 to 5 year transition out of their current W-2 into a working, functioning business that they can do and work from home and do from home.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And 5 years is not very long.
No, it's not.
When you really look at it.
It's not.
It's a good 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Plan of exit. Plan of
exit strategy.
Independency. Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a 5-year fucking plan.
Yes.
To win, go big, or go home.
Yeah, no, literally, exactly. And it's like, okay, you're just going to, if we don't change the recording, right? If we don't say, I'm going to make a change now and make a plan, and it's a strategic plan. It's not you're not taking a big leap and a big risk. You can go take collateral from the bank. Cool. Go take a little leverage out. You can do that too. But again, this is an alternative where maybe you don't have to rely on the bank, the banking system, the Federal Reserve. It's a low risk option, and it's a smooth transition.
Yeah.
Right? So for people who maybe don't want to risk it all, right? Maybe people who don't want to gamble, it's, for some of us, it's totally fine. Just throw all the chips on the table. But for those who want a smooth transition, especially with kids.
Yeah.
I get it. When you've got to pay bills and there are people relying on you and you got to make those payments and there's nobody else there to help you and you truly have to do it by yourself, you have to have a smarter plan.
Yeah.
And it has to be strategic. Otherwise, you have a lot more to lose.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get how stability is important. And so let's keep the stability, fine, but let's make a strategic plan out so that you don't have to keep being miserable and depressed up to age 50, lose out on longevity, right? It all ties in.
And be fucking bored.
Yes. And hate your life. Let's not hate our lives. Yeah. Right? Let's be happy about it. Let's change it. Let's choose happiness. Let's choose vitality, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Choose a full life and live it now and don't wait.
Yeah. Well, and it's such a good option.
Yeah.
Like you said, low risk.
Yep.
Quick return.
Yep.
5 years is not long.
No. Right?
Yeah.
And you're not
strategy, plans,
all of it. And you're not having to come up with more energy and more resources that maybe you don't have. Especially, let's say, as a single mom, this is kind of what we're talking about, is your energy is pretty much spent up to a certain point. Right? And especially if you have a W-2, maybe also a side hustle, you've got a lot going on. You don't have a lot of extra expendable energy. So you have to do more with less.
Yeah.
Right? You have to do more. You're having to do work calls during a 30-minute nap time.
Oh, yeah.
For your newborn, right? And so you have to be, and I think women are so good at this because of that reason, especially when you are, used to changing 2-3 diapers at a time or whatever it is, right? And then you've got a 30-minute window to clean the whole house before baby wakes up, like whatever it is, you have to be really good at working in these little sprint intervals.
Yep.
Right? And that's a lot of business is that. And so when you get really good at working in those intervals and you get good at making a lot of a little bit of time, and then obviously you can expand more, you can do more, and you can do more with what you already have and not having to burn yourself out, and then you don't have energy, you can't wake up, and then you get to this spiral to the point of adrenal fatigue, right? And then you really can't function, and then health comes into the picture, and you can't do the things you would otherwise have to do.
Yeah.
So we have to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree. In fact, all of those reasons are why I left corporate. If you looked at a photo of me from the time that I was like in corporate leadership, holy God, I'm like, who is that bitch? Like, what?
Lines down the face.
Yeah, because I just looked like exhausted.
Yes.
Like my hormones were off.
Yes.
Like granted, I'm getting like all of the things. I was just like, this is like killing me.
Yes.
Slowly.
Yeah.
And it was such a waste of time. And talking, or when you kind of just hit on like doing things in intervals.
Yeah.
One thing that I hated in the 9-to-5 or salary corporate world, you're expected to be there, right? Like 8 hours a day.
Yes.
Like, shit, I can accomplish anything that would maybe take someone 8 hours and literally fucking 3.
No, literally.
Like, I don't need 8 hours.
No. Seriously, though. Okay. This was also a reason why I decided to get a divorce. So again, let's bring this into another salty truth here. No,
drop that salty
shit.
Drop the salty bomb, baby.
Seriously, though, good for you for recognizing that too, though. Like seeing that in yourself and being able to acknowledge, like, this isn't me.
Yeah.
But I remember there was this one day, I think it may have been my birthday, and I had woken up, gotten the kids dressed, ready, fed, to school, back from school, closed a deal, paid off some payments, all before my ex-husband had woken up. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? So to your point of getting shit done in 2 hours, I'm like, I ain't done my whole day before you're even up. Like, what is this? I need someone to match my energy, goddammit.
You are corporate, asshole.
No, literally. Like, you're the one sucking me dry.
Yes.
Yeah. No, seriously.
That's hilarious.
It wasn't at the time.
Well, it's not at the time, but that is the realization. And I think that's what happens a lot too, especially like more and more, like we see, I think like now people talk about it.
Yeah.
But that's what happens.
Yes.
Because you don't have a fucking partner.
Yeah. Exactly.
If the who you're married to is not a partner and not pouring in to the development, the growth, the relationship, helping, whatever it might be.
And they're naturally draining you.
Yeah, completely draining you. And why the hell stay in it?
No, literally, it was this like aha moment, just like you said, with like seeing yourself in a picture. I had a similar experience and like I could see shock in my eyes. I'm like, oh my hell.
It's crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah.
And just everything. I'm like, I look so sad.
I know.
Like, poor Maddie.
I know. You feel bad for that person.
I know. Like, I just want to go give you a hug. But like, that's me now. So like, we're going to give yourself a hug, dry your tears and move on. Yeah. Move the fuck on. You're not going to stay and linger in this energy anymore.
Yeah. Love yourself more than that other person.
Literally though. And I do think, it really is law. Like, I think that when women love themselves more, and maybe it's contradictory for how men function, but I think with women, the more we actually pour into ourselves, we're natural givers and nurturers, the more we can put into others. Mm-hmm. And I just think that when we're being drained, I think it's very feminine to bring in energy. So when men are trying to suck energy from women, it's actually very feminine.
Yeah.
Right? And they're
Very
not actually
feminine.
Yeah. And they're not in their masculine energy either.
No.
And whether it be Utah or Modern World or whatever it is, I do think that there's a huge problem with that.
Yeah.
Right? Where women are being taken advantage of and they're not able to pour energy into themselves because it's just being leached, whether it be from corporate America, corporate world, or from, a spouse or partner, whoever it is. It's something that is really actually a simple fix.
Yeah.
The simple fix is recognition and taking it back.
Yeah.
And it's that fucking easy. It's not easy, I know. There's the soul ties. There's so many things where it just feels so hard to do. But once you do it, you're like, holy shit, this was actually natural all along and I was just fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my depression, my anxiety, my hopelessness, all these feelings I was feeling, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
I do believe that the emotions and feelings we feel aren't supposed to be suppressed. They're direction.
Yeah.
If we're feeling rage, feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling depression, feel it. Why? Change it.
Yeah.
Do something about it because that doesn't have to be chronic. You're not broken.
No.
There's not anything wrong with you. It's very human. So why are you feeling that way? Let's fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said earlier, use it as fucking fuel.
Literally.
Like power up.
Yes.
'Cause
Yes.
you will have some of your biggest successes when you are fucking pissed.
Yes.
And feeling
Oh my
like
gosh,
someone
queen.
took life away from you.
Yes. No, seriously. There was Dr. Estes. She wrote the Woman Who Run with Wolves book. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Every woman needs to read that.
I haven't read that one.
Oh,
I'm giving it.
Add it to your list. It is so fucking good. Every woman, it's their Bible. They need to read that shit.
Okay.
She's a PhD in anthropology. Excellent author. Really good. She basically goes into like ancestral stories and forgotten tales, the Brothers Grimm, all that. So fairy tales, if you will, that have been handed down through history. And we've kind of muddled the waters and we've sugar-coated a lot of the truths, right? So again, the salty truths here is we've sugar-coated a lot of these fairy tales from what they were to what they are now. Mm-hmm. And what they were actually truths for women to be careful, to look out for the predator, to be cautious to certain things. And what she was saying in there too, she talks about feminine rage, right? And the rage you feel after experiencing some of these things where somebody has taken energy from you and you haven't been vindicated and you haven't been seen or heard or validated and you still have to deal with it. And, as women, maybe we don't have a voice in a lot of these things, but you still have to deal with that rage. And what she says in that book is she says that rage can be fuel. It can be alchemized. Yeah. And she says that rage ends up being for a lot of artists a catalyst for their biggest creative ventures and their best creations. And you don't want to sit in it become bitter, right? And she gives that disclaimer, but you do want to alchemize it. Yeah. You do want to transform it into something that can just, send you into this creative stream. And then you become so much more. And like we've talked about before, you expand on this creative energy that's innate within you. And then you transform that rage into something amazing.
I need to read that book.
Yes.
I feel like it would 100% just sit with me and I need to check it out.
I think you would love it.
What was the name of it again?
The Women Who Run with Wolves.
Okay.
By Clarissa Estes? Dr. Estes. It's a very popular book, but
I wonder why I don't even know if I've heard of it. Maybe I have. I'm just not thinking about it.
You may have seen it. It's becoming a little bit more popularized now.
Okay.
I think people are waking up to things like this, these, truths for women because they're experiencing it. Yeah. Right? The pain. And they're like, well, where do we turn for this? Because it's not found in religious institutions created by men.
Right. No.
Right? I mean, not fully. There can be some value there too. But I think for women, there's not a lot there that we can turn to as far as how we need to function and what works best with our psyche and our spirits.
Yeah. And people are talking about it a little bit more, but there's still some individuals, and I know I felt this way at some point in time, that I kind of hid what was going on. Yeah. Or hid behind what was going on. And I'm done with that. Yeah. Like, I think that it's so important. Yeah, right. It's so important for individuals to know, like, whatever happened or whatever situation you went through or your divorce didn't happen or, whatever it is, don't give a fucking shit. Yeah. Be happy about who you are. Yep. And like you said, take that anger, fuel it, make something bigger and better, and keep your energy. Yes. And just because shit happened, you don't have to be a victim. You can let it go. You can write a letter to somebody if you need to, tear it the fuck up.
Burn it.
Burn it.
Burn book.
And move on. Yeah, burn book. My daughter wanted to watch that the other day. We watched it together.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
The younger one.
Like a rite of passage in the womanhood, right?
She's like, Mom, we got to watch this. All right. Okay.
You're at that stage.
It is like a burn book. My best friend and I, we would write letters to our ex-husbands that
Cathartic.
we just had to be like, let it all out.
Yep.
Let it go.
Yeah. Well, I am a big believer in a physical manifestation of what you're trying to bring about internally.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier with offerings. And I do believe that there's so much value. And, you know, people would probably call me a witch, a little witchy. I love that shit. Like I do. I believe it's a physical offering. The word sacred, actually, the root word to that is sacros in Latin, meaning to set apart. And so when you take something that you want to set apart, or whether you're giving up dating or, you know, you go through the divorce, whatever it is that you're giving up, you're setting it apart from everything else in your life, and you're truly making it sacred and special.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that is now important. And I do believe that the universe acknowledges that and sees that as something that you are willingly offering, that you are, you know, you're physically manifesting and saying, I am laying this on the altar, take it and make something more of it with me. Because I do believe that there are, you know, other sources other than just ourselves that are working in our favor when we are willing to put forth those kind of efforts or offerings.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree. And you think everything works off of a frequency and energy.
Totally does.
And that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And making.
Right.
And what are you going to produce? You know, momentum has to happen.
Yeah. No, exactly. And it's like energy can't be created or destroyed. Exactly to your point. It's like, you know, there is going to be momentum, and it's either going to go to your old recordings, right? Your past self, and you're ruminating, or it's going to go forward and you're going to do something different with it. And no matter what, you have the same amount of energy. It's where is it going? Are you doing finances, right? Are you doing more with what you already have? Or are you letting it drain out in the leaky bucket? You know, are you taking something and you're redirecting that energy, saying this is the finite amount of bandwidth and energy that I have. What else more am I going to do with it? Or are you going to let it keep, you know, giving it to other people?
Yeah.
Or are you just going to keep serving other people and not serving yourself?
Yeah. And you need to serve yourself.
Damn straight.
Damn
straight
it.
You do. Right? Nobody else is going to do it for you.
No.
Yes.
It's time to have fun.
Yeah, look good.
Get salty, get real, be
right.
unapologetic.
Yes.
Have a fucking blast.
Seriously, get our hormones right.
Yes. Balance that shit.
Right? We're not going to look all shocked in our photos anymore and look drained.
No, it's exactly.
Give us back lifeblood energy.
Well, I love it. Okay, so if someone wants to reach out to you, tell us the process. What does that look like? Where can they find you?
Yeah. So if this has resonated with anybody, if this is something where you're like, oh my gosh, I need this, I need to figure it out, we can just hop on a call, right? Because I don't know if it's going to help you and you don't know if it's going to help you either. So if somebody wants to get a hold of me, what they can do is they can just go on any of my social handles. So at Planet with Madison, not planet like the planets. You're going to do plan like financial planning, plan it with Madison. They can go there and then they can go to my website and book a call. It's that easy. I don't charge for the initial call. So if you want an initial consult, if that's something where you're like, okay, I just want to see if this is a fit, if I'm in a position to do this. If not, we make a plan. You're ready a year from now. Cool. But that call is free. So people can go book a consult call on my Calendly link in my bio, and we can go just over their situation. Ideally, they come prepared with 2 years of tax returns. They fit the parameters that we've discussed, right? So like LLC or a side hustle, a full-time working business, or they're a 1099. You know, if they fit the parameters, we are already one step ahead, and we can already take a look at everything.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, not too hard. Right?
Not too hard. Sounds pretty simple. I'm sitting here going, why haven't I done it?
Yeah, right? No, I know.
Time for me to do it.
You got to get on the call list.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it'll be great. Salty truths of the day. There was definitely some salt dropped. I love it.
We got it.
Biggest salty truth takeaway that I'm hearing today is that if you want to take a bold risk, or you're thinking about becoming financially independent, you want to own your own business, or maybe you already do, but you're trying to work through getting rid of that W-2, you need to reach out to Madison. she is going to help you make those steps. And I think she's got your back either way.
I got your back. Big sister energy over here.
Yes, I love it.
Perfect.
All right, Salties, thank you for joining us today. This was so much fun. Salty Truth segment will be coming up in our next episode. This is going to be something new that I'm dropping. So make sure that you are tuning in. Episodes drop every Wednesday at 8 a.m. And reach out to Madison. I think she would love to hear from you. And if you have any salty truths that you want to drop, please DM me. I want to hear from you. Okay, love you all and talk to you soon.